It feels like it's been a mad couple of days or week. I know Friday I missed my live stream, and I know Monday I missed my live stream, but it was for good reason. I got my first paid gig where someone had paid me money or will pay me money to produce something for them. It's not even for my channel. It's not something where I'm going to be posting it. It's going to be posted on the channel. When I can, I'll share that with you guys. But honestly, it just filled me with a joy. It was only through a series of coincidental events that I actually managed to get the gig. But I got it and I did it, and I had to work my ass off and get it done quickly. It was a tight turnaround. There was all sorts of things going on with it, but I did it. And I was so proud of what I produced. And then simultaneous to that, I had produced 2 or 3 videos on YouTube that really started to hit, man. They started to get views. And I didn't really expect it. I just had these ideas for these videos. I didn't think they were anything special really, but I did it and they've done well. And what that's done is it's sparked something in my head where I've said, okay, YouTube is starting to push my content. It's starting to get some traction. It's getting some visibility. Now I need to make the most of that. It's kind of sparked some inspiration into me to be yes, go and make that content. Go and make the content that you've been thinking about. All these ideas for these different YouTube series have started coming into my head, and I just need to produce them now. What it has caused though is, because there's these YouTube videos that needed to be done, gameplay videos, review videos, what we need to know type videos. You can see them all on this channel if you go and look through. It's adjusted my schedule a little bit. I'm having to try and find my feet again. I came to YouTube later than I wanted to, really. Or than I realised. I didn't really know that I should have been producing content on there. I went all in on TikTok and thought that would be the saviour of everything that I'd be doing. And I realised, it was obvious to me really that I needed to diversify the platforms that I was on and make sure that I was producing content on YouTube. And actually the YouTube content has become much more fun and interesting for me than the other content. I still love doing it all, but the YouTube content I'm fired up about at the moment because it feels a bit more crafted. It feels a bit more impactful to me. Feels like I can have a bit more freedom there, that I'm not oh, this is going to be over a minute. It's going to struggle on this platform. I'm going to struggle to get it out there. But anyway, look, there's a bunch of videos that I've done that I'm super happy with, and they've done really well. I feel like the thumbnails took a step up. I feel like the editing took a step up. And, some of this stuff is because of the encouragement of fellow creators who've said, this needs to be a long form piece of content. Try this, try that. And then, friends who are getting me paid gigs, who are putting me in front of the right people and putting their neck on the line really to recommend me to publishers and stuff. So anyway, look, there's so much going on that I'm so happy that the YouTube content's starting to work, but it has disrupted this balance a little bit. I need to make sure that I'm still maintaining my short form content, that I'm still maintaining the live streams, I'm still maintaining all the other stuff that I want to do. I am trying to think of ways to reward people who are supporting me in more thorough ways. Early access to content is one thing, but especially when I get busy, having the ability to get content out early is definitely more challenging. And also because I get excited about content, I want to get it out as quickly as I can, which is a fault of my own really. But anyway, look, I am working on how all of this sits together, and it's almost like starting from scratch again, because there's these new ideas and these new things that I want to do that take me a little bit longer, that are a little bit more in depth, that require a little bit more editing and script writing and filming and all these things. But I'm excited about some of the content that's coming, and I'm excited to have got my first paid gig. It wasn't a huge amount of money, it was a huge amount of effort, but it just was nice to do something and to be paid for it, and to be in a position where I'm yes, there's possibilities here, there's potential here for me. So it's only been a couple of days, but so much has happened. For YouTube, there's going to be more content around. I want to do a history of series. It's like history of Nintendo, history of PlayStation, history of Xbox, history of video games. I'd love to do that, and I'm figuring out ways to get those things scripted now, and hopefully they'll be produced in the next. Well, they're going to be produced consistently. We'll see how they go. I want to do some more first impressions. Is going to be a big part of what I do. I've done a first impressions for Frostpunk, first impressions for Undisputed. There's a whole bunch of games where I've got like first impressions where I play for like 30, 40 minutes, an hour, and then I do a kind of 5-minute roundup review at the end. And I really like those because you can skip through, you can see the gameplay, you can just go and watch the review. I feel like they're impactful piece of content. The history of a bit more, history of kind of series is a bit more, it will be a thing that sits on YouTube and hopefully builds up over time. And then the other thing that I want to do is some more gameplay clips as well, which have been doing well for me for certain games. Oh, and that's the other thing that I wanted to do. The GTA 6 video I did that was everything we know about GTA 6 so far has done really well. Got pushed out to lots of people. It did well. And there was another thing I wanted to talk to you about. The last video I posted, the last vlog, I talked about the fact that it was the first payday where I hadn't received a salary. And I felt like I was quite clear in that I said I didn't receive a salary and it made me panic a little bit, but I needn't have panicked because I had savings. I had the money that I needed for this month and the months to come. There was no worries for me for the rest of this year really in terms of money. And somebody commented, I think they said, you're being so irresponsible, especially as you have kids. And it just kind of hit me a little bit, really. Partly because I checked the person out. They create content themselves. So they understand the effort that goes into creating content. But also, it was such an ill-informed comment. Like, how dare you? How dare you say what I'm doing is irresponsible and bring my children into it? Here's news for you, buddy. I don't just have one kid. I've got 3 kids. All 3 of them I'm being irresponsible to. But imagine going on the internet and deciding to call someone out who's trying to follow their dream, trying to be creative, trying to produce something, trying to be impactful, and also being vulnerable about this is how I feel, this is what's going on with me, and completely missing the point of the video and having the gall to say you're being irresponsible without knowing a single thing about me, without knowing what's in my savings account, without knowing what money I've got put away, without knowing, what my kids' wants and needs are. Imagine thinking that I would allow my kids to go without the basic necessities of life. But here's the thing that you don't realise. The main things that kids need, right, apart from food and water, is to be loved, right? And I've been in situations where it's really difficult to love anyone because I didn't really love myself. I had a lot of self-hatred. I had a lot of, poor self-esteem. I was unhealthy. I was overweight. I was emotionally stunted. I really didn't love myself, and that made it really difficult to be a good dad, to be a good parent, and to be a good partner. I'm talking about years ago here. And one of the things I realised is I'd spent a huge amount of time doing things in order to make other people happy, in order to get the approval of other people. That's what I really, really wanted the approval of my ex-wife, of my sister, of my kids, of my parents. I just desperately craved for them to be like, yes, you're doing the right thing. And this is not their fault, by the way. This is my fault. But I desperately wanted that. I didn't know how to say no to them. I didn't know how to have my own boundaries. I didn't know how to look after myself financially. I didn't know how to look after myself emotionally. And I ended up in a position where I was a broken slob of a man who did shitty things in order to maintain a lifestyle that I couldn't maintain, right? And obviously the ultimate result of that is I was a broken person, and everything around me broke also. I ended up divorced. I ended up broke. I ended up moving back in with one of my sisters. I ended up in a horrible situation. It took me years and years and years to recover from that. So I really understand what it's like to be irresponsible. But that was never a financial thing. It was an emotional thing. What your kids really need is to be loved. And the easiest way to love your kids is if you can love yourself. And I know this sounds wanky. I really know it sounds like socks and sandals and, happy clappy. But I promise you it's not. My happiness is important because if I'm unhappy, the likelihood of my children, my wife, my family being happy around me is so low, because my unhappiness and that shitty energy is so infectious to what's around you. So when I lost my job, and there's a video on that, you can see how much I earned, you can see what I lost, you can see why I lost my job, you can see why I decided not to go back. There's a whole video on that. But when I lost it and I decided to do this full time, it was petrifying, because the success or failure of it was completely on me. I didn't have a boss to blame. I didn't have anyone to blame but myself. But I knew that there was happiness to be found in doing what I do today. And that doesn't mean it's easy, because it's not easy. It's emotionally taxing. I'm having to learn new skills every day. There's so many things that make it a difficult place to exist, but I wouldn't change it for the world. So I'm sorry that you feel, based on your rules of engagement, based on your rules of being a good father, of being a good man, I'm sorry that you feel like I'm being irresponsible. But I promise you I'm not. And I wish you were better. I wish you were better able to conduct yourself, so you didn't go around shitting on other people's dreams on the internet. I hope you have a good day. And listen, guys, if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button. Let's make it so I'm very responsible and build up those subscribers. If you like this kind of content where I'm genuinely just talking about what my life is like as a full-time content creator, and there's lots of moments where I'm going to be vulnerable and feel rough, and it's going to feel like a negative, and there's going to be lots of moments where I'm very positive and it's going to feel like everything is on top. Really, it's not designed to be any of those things. Really, it's just a reflection of what's going on with me at the moment. And I always say this, but I'm almost always just talking about things that I need to learn, things that I need to understand better. This is just me processing what's going on with me. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you want to support the channel for free, you can subscribe. If you want to support the channel with some money, you can also do that. If you go to ko-fi.com/charmagamer, there's a link down in the description. You can donate to me. You get early access to content like this. You get early access to all of the content that I produce. You also get custom access, or exclusive access to things that I don't put anywhere else, like blogs, written blogs. And I'm looking to expand out the amount of exclusive content that I do for people on Ko-fi. So please do go and support me in any way that you can. If you can't, just drop me a comment, say hello, call me irresponsible, whatever you want to do. But whatever you can do, please do it. I'd love to have you as part of my community here on YouTube. You can also check out my other channels, or scroll on by and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.